Hello and welcome back to the Fruit of Grisaia. This is technically this is the only time where we're actually choosing between two girls, but that is rather because of how the Fruit of Grisaia and its branches are built up, rather than how it decides who we are picking. So, in the last couple of episodes, we went with Michiru, and the route for her was, I want to ask you something. Now, obviously the only girl that's left is Sakaki Yumiko. And since we should not go for Michiru once again, we should now ask, no, it's nothing. No, it's nothing. I'm overthinking this. This strange little interlude must be nothing more than a new part of her act. She'll no doubt be back to the normal Michiru soon enough. I see. Very well then. Oh, sorry I scared off the cat. Not to worry, he's quite attached to me. If I come here, I can see him whenever I want. I see. Alright then, I'll be heading back to the dorm. Sure, I'm just gonna rest here for a while longer and then I'll follow. Huh? Where's Michiru? Her condition appears favorable. There's nothing in particular to be worried about. Did you not hear me before? I said take responsibility, didn't I? I checked up on her. Isn't that sufficient? I'm not the girl's father, you know. I'm not obliged to spend all day nursing her. Well, yeah, but I mean... What? You still have a problem? She'll return eventually. What the heck? Chiru still ain't back? This a little bit lonely without her. Listen up, Machina. Everyone needs to be alone at times. It's a basic human need. Respecting that is very important. You understand? I think I gotcha. Yumiko gets really cranky when she doesn't get enough alone time after all. An excellent case in point. You continue to impress me, Kasami-san. You're quite right. I suppose always being around others might well grate on the nerves. You really sure she's okay? Yeah, there isn't a problem. I'll guarantee that. Oh. I guess that's good enough. Just as promised, Michiru returned shortly thereafter. I spot her walking down the dorm hallway, chewing on something with the invigorated expression of a woman who just passed a kidney stone. You're back, it would seem. Huh? Of course I am. I just felt a tiny bit sick, so I went out to get some fresh air. What are you eating? Qa'Rajh, I ran into Machina at the school gate on my way back. She said, "Welcome home, Chiru," and threw something at me, so I reflexively jumped down on it. In between chews, I asked her what it was, and she said it's Qa'Rajh for reals. So I'm like, oh, this is the real deal, huh? You just can't beat the name brand when it comes to flavor, right? I think the nuance of Machina's real might be slightly different from what Michiru thinks, but it's probably best not to mention that. I see. Anyway, are you feeling better now? But of course, bit of rest, and I'm good as new with tasty Qa'Rajh to chew. Is that Michiru doing well too? That Michiru? Which Michiru? I'm me, aren't I? Don't ask me all these weird questions, okay? I see. Make sure you get to bed early tonight. Rest up and recover your health. I plan to. Not that it's any of your business. You're nothing but a... Chiru, here you go. Machina, what is this? It's Qa'Rajh. Yes, this third-rate knockoff Qa'Rajh just can't compare. The real deal was seriously delicious though. One other thing, Michiru. Take some stomach medicine tonight. If possible, get it from Sachi, not Machina. Huh? Okay. But why? Because if you ask Sachi, she'll give you the real stuff. The real stuff? Like a trendy brand name stomach medicine? Is it super effective or something? Just do it, alright? Fine, whatever. This one kinda tastes like pencil dust for some reason. Oh, Machina. With this, the Michiru incident drew to a close. Human beings are multifaceted creatures. It's perfectly normal for someone to change their tone of speech depending on who they are addressing. Very significant shifts in their personality aren't uncommon either. Something or other inspired atypical behavior from Michiru today. But I have no idea what the root cause was, and when you get right down to it, it's really none of my business. There's a line I shouldn't cross here. If I want to avoid tracking my muddy footprints all over my classmates' fragile hearts, I need to continue to exercise such restraints as long as I live in this place. Everyone has their weaknesses. Human beings aren't omnipotent. If anything, we're largely powerless. And so, we must also be resourceful. We're born utterly impotent, and no matter how long we live and how much we learn, we'll always have more weaknesses than strength. Our resourcefulness, then, is the tool by which we work around these fundamental shortcomings. Sometimes we find a way to conquer our failings. More often we learn avoidance, ways to keep them from hurting us. Whatever the means, in the end we gain the ability to scrape by. As weaklings go, we are a hardy breed. One afternoon, just as I'm leaving the shopping area in front of the train station, something catches my attention. I draw to a halt and turn to look. Can I help you, miss? Hey, please take your time. Looks that can kill, and those who cringe in terror. If this were Nagasaki a few hundred years ago, you might guess someone who had splashed mud on a samurai. But this is a modern town not far from Tokyo, and that right there is a young woman. Oh, it's Qa'Rajh. Just a moment ago, I had sensed an ominous, foreboding aura across the street, powerful enough to inspire a momentary surge of concern. Thought there might have been some terrorist attack in the making, but I guess it's just Qa'Rajh being Qa'Rajh. Might have been a bit on edge since I just paid a visit to Grisaia to take care of some minor chores. Either way, I investigated the situation for safety's sake, only to find an individual in some ways more troublesome than your garden variety terrorist. Sakaki Yumiko, a court antisocial classmate of mine, shrewd about Qa'Rajh. I'm rather amazed to find that she's capable of projecting such a ferocious aura as to fool my carefully honed instinct for danger. It seems she's still capable of surprising me. Quite impressive, really, though it's not likely that many schoolgirls would particularly enjoy receiving that sort of compliment. Still, just what is she doing over there? Sakaki stands under a colorful yellow and red-striped awning, glaring powerfully through the glass at the interior of a small store. Since the girl's usually defined by her emotionless, disinterested and asocial vacuum of a personality, the intense passion in that gaze is somewhat surprising. A nubile young girl stands alone in front of a crepe shop. Normally, I think this would inspire some delusional fantasies on your part. Sachi, having snuck up beside me at some point, offers a typically helpful suggestion. Fantasies. Indeed, for example, the crepe she buys suddenly explodes, leaving her covered from head to toe in sticky cream. I believe a hackneyed delusion of sort would be the typical next step in this situation. With cream play, eh? Come on, I really don't think that's typical. Look, I'm not asking for a description of your sexual fantasies, Sachi. I'm just wondering what Sakaki is doing in front of that shop. Quickly outpaced by the conversation, I attempt to get things back on topic. In the next moment, someone yanks vigorously on my sleeve. That's someone being Makina, of course. She's got a comically proud expression on her face. I'm reminded of a toddler reporting that she went poopy all by herself to her parents in full expectation of their lavish praise. I hardly think this girl is likely to have any accurate information, but I suppose it can't hurt to ask. Well, Makina, do you know something about this? What's going on with Sakaki? I bet you Yumito's plotting up a way to seize that shop on a false pretense, then coldly raise it to the ground and salt the earth where it used to stand. Great, thanks. You've been a big help. As expected, asking Makina was an utter waste of time. Not that I'm expecting anything resembling a coherent answer, but I just can't help myself. Why would Sakaki need a thing like that? Huh? I mean, that's a hobby, you know. When you use that disbelieving everybody knows that tone of voice, it almost sounds convincing. Everyone needs a hobby. It's human side. Violently snatching people's stores just to wipe them out of existence is a human side? Even for Sakaki, that seems excessively malicious. I've been talking with these people for several minutes now, and none of them has said anything remotely insightful, or even coherent. Have they collectively lost what little sanity they had left? So, Eugene, you didn't even flinch when we all popped out of nowhere. Oh, right. That's because I sensed your presence nearby. Again with that ridiculous superhuman act.
Personally, I thought that bit about the whipped cream earlier was significantly more ridiculous. What was all that about anyway?
Well, there was a little debate earlier, but we ended up reaching a consensus. It's only natural to have someone eat off your naked body at least once, just to check it off the list.
You reached a consensus on that?
The initial topic was ridiculous enough, but how the discussion might have developed toward and arrived at that conclusion is completely beyond my comprehension. Hey, you seem to be misunderstanding something here. Aman is just making this up for your information. It's not like I agreed to anything like that. Yes, Michiru-sama is as pure as driven snow after all. Even if her hair is dyed blonde. Hey you, mate! I don't think I really like the way you put that. And don't you just casually diss my hair color. Are you calling me a slut? Michiru-sama, I'll give you a nice shiny penny, so please settle down. You may look like a slut, but I assure you I don't believe you really are one. A penny. Cool. Hey, you know what? If you're trying to fix your mistake, then do it properly! I am truly sorry. You are quite correct. As your hair is dyed blonde, perhaps pure as the yellow-stained snow would be the more appropriate description. That was not the issue! Hey guys, it's nice that you're having fun over there, but if you keep squawking like that, Sakaki-san's going to notice us. And then we're all going to get subjected to her unimaginably gruesome revenge. That would be problematic, Michiru-sama. Let's try to use our indoor voices. Considering the situation, I'll stay quiet for now, but don't think this is over. Yeah, keep it down. I don't want Yumiko coming at me with that sinister smirk of hers. I've had a hard time not peeing myself. It's like something out of a horror flick.
So I'm kind of getting the idea that this is a deliberate surveillance operation on your part.
Covert activities of this sort are well within the range of my professional expertise, and this noisy crowd of schoolgirls would have to be the single least competent operation I've ever seen. I feel mildly dizzy. Well, let's put a positive spin on it and say, I'm always seeing new things when I'm with these people. Although I'd never ever want to work a job with them. Of course, you can't say Sakagi's much better than the rest, since she still hasn't caught on. She's staring intently at a piece of paper in the shop window. Perhaps she's finally tracked down the menu that killed her family. At least I hope that's a menu. If that sheet of paper has the manager's name written on it or something, I'd have to assume Sakagi's trying to play some sort of fatal curse on them. It's been a good 30 minutes now and she hasn't even budged an inch. Yeah, that poor clerk is about ready to cry.
In other words, you people have been here for half an hour as well. I mean, forget Sakaki, what is your objective here? I was originally thinking you came as a group and just sent her to buy everyone crepes.
No, that's not the case. In the first place, it's hardly likely that Sakaki-san would agree to such an errand, is it?
You do have a point.
I just happened to spot Yumiko like that, so I messaged everyone else to join up here.
A group stalking? You guys really get along.
I hardly want to talk, Ionjin. You casually joined right in on yourself.
But I just coincidentally happened to... Well, no, I guess you're right. Can't really deny that.
What's with the wishy-washy answer?
Forget it.
Truth of the matter is, I'd realized halfway through the sentence that defending myself would require a tiresome explanation and decided to follow the path of least resistance instead. It's one of the little tricks I've resourcefully picked up to make my life among these people easier. So, leaving aside those delusions such as mentioned, what do you think Sakaki might be doing, Yuji?
Well...
The elements of our puzzle. Yumiko, a crepe shop. Oh, that's right. Yuji, do you even know what crepes are?
Think so. Whipped cream and fruit rolled up inside a thin omelette, right?
Not that I've ever eaten one. Well, no, maybe I did once or twice, but judging from the way I can't particularly recall the experience, it can't be that memorable a treat. I mean, in all fairness, I'm basically not that interested in food in the first place, and the crepe is a sugary thing aimed at women and children. It would be downright strange if I was interested in it. Less an omelette and more a pancake, but you're essentially correct. So we got Sakaki-san in front of this collection of super sweet crepes. What do you think about that, Yuji?
I see. I think I finally understand the situation.
In short, they're all just bursting with sheer curiosity. After all, our cool and collected Sakaki appears to be longing after a sugary treat. What kind of crepe will she order? What's the look on her face going to be like when the moment finally comes? How will she eat it? A new side of Sakaki Yumiko, a face she keeps carefully hidden from us, might well emerge in that moment. Normally this sort of event would hardly warrant such high expectations. You'd fully expect Sakaki to casually buy something in her usual apathetic way, then casually eat it without any particular expression on her face. But for some reason Sakaki appears to be seriously conflicted instead. This tantalizing hint of something out of the ordinary has clearly fueled the group's hopes. Sakaki, every ounce of her concentration focused on the menu in front of her, glares into the window like a thug trying to intimidate someone into submission. I can't say I've ever seen anyone buy a treat with an expression like that on their face. What on earth is she thinking about at the moment? Hey, Pops, give me some tofu udon with plenty of onions and tempura, and don't get stingy with the soup either. Sorry, little lady, but this ain't no noodle shop. We sell crepes, you blockhead.
What the hell was that?
Well, just had to let go of a little tension, you know. Maki-chan fired off the setup out of nowhere, so it took all of my effort merely to respond with a tiny little punchline.
Right, but why did you bother?
She's got that super intense look on her face, so I was thinking maybe she'd just crack and blurt something like that out.
Okay, look, not everyone is as bipolar as you are.
Sakaki may seem fearsome at times, but this girl is frightening in her own right. No, I bet I know what Sakaki-san's really thinking.
You're supposed to be the responsible elder here, right? Don't get caught up in Makina's games.
Oh, what's the big deal? You know, Yuji, I feel like you're harder on me than Sachin or Makina. What's up with that,
I'm treating you like the adult you should be. Also, do me a favor and don't try to talk like the kids these days at your age. It's just embarrassing to watch.
What the hell? Since when was I middle-aged?
Forget it. I give up. Do what you want.
Well, whatever. Okay, everybody, please take a careful look at Sakaki-san. I will now convey her thoughts to you. Amane moves the conversation right along with all the lurching resilience of a drunkard trapped at the height of a midlife crisis. Excuse me, I seem to have dropped my nipple. What? My God! Amane! That is so not what Sakaki would be thinking! Oh! I'd forgotten about that. Ah. Instantly, I feel the air around me freeze solid. Ignoring this completely, Amane forges on ahead with her monologue. My right, yes, it's pinkish, a bit on the small side. Have you seen it?
Please stop. You're disgracing yourself as a human being.
Huh? No good? Really?
Your beloved Kansai is the cultural capital of Japanese comedy, isn't it? Can't you tell the difference between a safe joke and one that's just awkward for everyone involved?
Now, hold on just a minute, you see. Nipples are totally A-okay. Over there they be giving old ladies walking around with the titties hanging out, you know. Why am I the only one facing the music? Please say no more, Amane-san. You too, Sachin? Did I go too far? Really? Can you even drop a nipple in the first place? Shitting? Sorry, Makina, your big sis needs some alone time right now. Finally crushed by the awkward atmosphere, Amane slowly crumbles to the ground in shame. Okay, Qa'Rajh, you're up! Seems Michiru was anticipating this possibility, as she's been keeping uncharacteristically quiet and inconspicuous since the comedy routine started. To no avail, of course. Something close to panic splits across her face. Look, why are we suddenly having a round of stand-up comedy in the first place? Just for the heck of it. After all, this is raison d'etre, is the entire event, don't you think? But I'm not really confident about this stuff. It doesn't really matter if you're funny or not, just go for it. Yes, that's right. The only thing that's truly important here is to be a good sport and avoid ruining the light-hearted mood. Do you understand me, Michiru-sama? Fine. You shall rue the day you crossed me, Crepe, for I... Game over, Michiru-sama. I told you so! Michiru lets out a strange, piteous wail and collapses to the ground.
You people are seriously cruel.
I only heard Qa'Rajh because I love her, you know.
That a fact?
Her attempt at a joke was unfortunately most poorly conceived and not amusing in the least, but In the grand scale of things, such matters are entirely inconsequential, right, Michiru-sama?
Just stop talking to me.
Michiru responds to her friend's tough love by curling up into a fetal ball next to Amane, but I'm not well versed in these matters, so if Makina says this is motivated by affection, I guess I'll have to take her word for it.
Okay, Uni-chan, you're our last contestant.
What? Me too?
Yes, of course, Kasami-san. Don't tell me you expected yourself to be the only exception.
Well, I guess not.
I'm expecting big things from you, kid. At this point, I don't care if you really does come up with something funny. I'm just going to jeer at him either way.
Why did you feel the need to declare that?
What a mess. Then again, even this nasty little game is nothing compared to the many seriously unpleasant varieties of humor I've had to deal with in the workplace. Consciously tuning out all of the sensory data, I turn my focus completely inward and rapidly begin to devise a plan. Speed is crucial in this sort of thing. A gag centered around Sakaki, eh? Maybe I'll play up the gap between her girly tastes and violent personality. Seems like it might fit the bill.
Alright, that should work.
I raise my head, to find everyone has vanished. Amane and the others are gone. Even Sakaki, who had been planted like a statue in front of the crepe shop throughout our little routine, has suddenly gone missing. No, I guess she's still around after all. She's not currently in my field of vision, but there seems to be someone emitting an aura of murderous anger behind me, and there's no mistaking this menacing metallic sound. Seems she managed to sneak up on me at some point. What were you doing?
Hold that thought. Can you try saying excuse me? Which would make for a better weapon, banana or strawberry flavored crepes? Just an experiment.
What? Are you trying to distract me by spouting out of nonsense? I'd rethink that strategy.
Right, sorry, forget it. You wanted to know what I was doing here. I was observing you, Sakaki.
I see. Okay then, first thing first, I'm going to murder you now.
Sorry, but that's well beyond your capabilities, as I think you've known for some time now.
When I turned back, Sakaki was indeed waiting for me. Despite the anger smoldering beneath the surface, there's no obvious sign of rage on her face. She's expressionless as always. I guess I should interpret that as a positive thing, but it feels more like a letdown. It might have been interesting to see some naked emotion from her for once.
Where did the others go?
They sprinted off at full speed. Guilty conscience, perhaps. I expect they must have been brutally mocking a certain pathetic girl who couldn't even choose a crepe off the menu.
Oh, so that was what's going on there.
Huh?
Yeah, we were all kind of racking our brains trying to figure out why you were just standing there like a statue.
To be more precise, we were amusing ourselves by inventing ludicrous theories, but I might as well leave that unsaid. And I let it slip, hoisted by my own petard, as they say. I'll never live this one down.
I really don't think it's that big of a deal. So, were you able to buy a crepe in the end?
I just didn't want one anymore.
I see.
At first I was just a little indecisive.
Oh, right.
We're still discussing this? She's oddly talkative. I mean, if she was going to give me the real story, why lie about not wanting one in the first place? All my options looked incredibly delicious, so I couldn't decide.
I see.
I really couldn't decide.
Right.
I really couldn't decide.
That hard a choice, eh?
I was expecting you to laugh there.
What? That effect? Sorry, guess I missed the what cue.
Whatever, never mind. Sakaki averts her face uncomfortably. I do feel bad about making a joke fall flat, but I seriously didn't catch it. To be honest, I still don't understand when or why I was supposed to laugh. Well, I guess the two of us just aren't cut out for this sort of thing. Sakaki may not be much of a comedian, but I'm hardly the best audience.
So you never ended up making a decision?
No, I made up my mind.
Then why not buy it?
I suppose I could have.
But you're not holding a crepe.
I spent too much time standing there. When I finally looked over, the clerk was staring at me with this incredibly suspicious look on his face. I instantly realized I'd never be able to buy anything from that store ever again, but there just weren't any other customers stopping by, so it was impossible to slip away.
Well, yes, since you were standing there glowering like the incarnation of wrath, I expect any potential customers fled in terror.
Fortunately, I eventually noticed you people over here and managed to break free out of pure anger.
I see.
Again with the menacing metallic sound. Not that it's particularly intimidating to me. Of course, Takagi has to be aware of her threat is as hollow as well. I expect her she's unsheathing the blade mostly as a means to concentrate her hostility, rather than in expectation of the expectation it'll make an effective weapon. You were planning to make a mockery of me, I presume?
Don't jump to conclusions.
What other reason could there possibly be for you to spy on me?
Once you got that crepe and started eating it, I thought I might get to see you smile happily for once. Simple as that. Sakagi?
What on earth? Did you really want to see that?
Well, I'm a little interested, yes.
Sakagi's only reaction to my statement is a disinterested grunt. That doesn't change the fact that you were being exceptionally rude.
If it seemed that way to you, then I can't argue. Sorry about that.
It's alright, but as a punishment, I'll smash that delusion of yours to smithereens.
Say, what?
Well, what do you think?
I'm really not sure how to respond to that question.
This was the punishment handed down to me. I'm required to watch intently as Sakagi eats her crepe. Apparently Sakagi plans to use this opportunity to crush my expectation that eating something sweet would prompt her to smile. Of course, this involved sending me into the creperie to buy Sakagi her treat. I have a nagging suspicion that may have been the main point of this exercise. That said, I don't think I've ever seen anyone eat a dessert quite this expressionlessly before. She's obviously doing it on purpose out of sheer stubbornness that is taking conscious effort to keep my amusement from showing on my face. Heh, quite tasty. Sakagi speaks triumphantly, an expression of superior scorn spreading across her face. There you go, not a particularly interesting sight, now is it?
Well, I have to say I was surprised.
Were you really that convinced by your ridiculous little fantasy?
Guess so.
Her face tense with concentration, Sakagi earnestly devours her treat. To be honest, it looks a bit dirty, what with the whipped cream and all. Well, there's no point in making things even more troublesome, so I'll keep that thought to myself. Sakagi, blissfully oblivious to my perspective on the matter, crunches and munches loudly away at her crepe. And that's where we'll end this episode. So, we are now on the path of Sakagi Yumiko, rather than going back to the main story, so to say. We are actually done with the main story for now, and we are on the last and final branch of the Fruit of Grisaia, and I'm loving every moment of it. I hope you are too. Anyway, until next time, take care.